Cops suspect missing grandmother was chopped up and grilled by her own family. Let's watch this video.
May 27th, 2023. It's a quiet summer afternoon in this Maryland neighborhood. But when a neighbor spots a plume of black smoke rising into the air from the brush in a nearby house's backyard, they call the fire department. The fire department arrives to investigate. But by then, the fire has burned out, and there's no sign of any arsonists. Little do they know that 4 days earlier, this house that looks just like all the rest was the scene of something like a horror movie.
A woman allegedly killed and dismembered by her daughter and granddaughter. It's a case that is stopping everyone in their tracks.
Burned and dismembered her body into more than 67 pieces.
This is Celia Hardy.
Nah, what is wrong with people,
she says
bro?
That her grandmother's screams aren't all that unusual.
She always screamed. Like when she used to fall and stuff, she would always scream. So we found a dismembered body. Do you know what dismembered means? Okay, so we found pieces of her body. Pieces like chopped up, like somebody's body was chopped up in bags in the house. I can't say for sure that it's your grandmother. I don't know whose body it is. I don't know who else's body would be in the house.
But her grandmother, 71-year-old Margaret Craig, hasn't been seen since. When the police get involved, they'll discover that this apparent missing person
What the hell is going on, bro?
Ordinary.
I know she went missing twice last year, and then January she did the same thing. Was there a report for that? No, she came back the third day, but she never said who she was or anything. And I kept on asking, she didn't want to tell me.
A grandmother's scream, a smoking grill, and a chainsaw bought from Amazon. Here on the decoder, with never-before-seen interview footage, this is the disturbing story of the disappearance of Margaret Craig. She's known affectionately as Auntie Joyce among her relatives.
This is crazy, I ain't gonna lie.
As she got older, she began experiencing health issues. She'd recently suffered multiple strokes, and as a result, she needed long-term care. Her nurse was her daughter, 44-year-old Candace, living under the same roof and spending almost all their time together. Candace was dedicated to looking after her mother. She seems to have been the perfect daughter to the perfect mom. As a result, anyone would think she'd be distraught at the idea her mom had gone missing and that she'd contact the authorities as soon as she could. But it doesn't work out quite that way. On May 31st, one of Margaret's nephews drives over to the house. She hasn't been returning his calls for a week now. Having had so many medical emergencies in the past, her relatives are terrified that the next one will be her last. When no one answers his knock on the door, he calls the police. He messages Candace at the same time. He says, "I'm on the phone with the police. They are doing a wellness check. Sorry to scare you, but this is not normal." She responds with a thumbs up. When she finally comes to the door, she tells the family members that are gathered there that Margaret's gone to a friend's house. She says she'll go to the police once 72 hours has passed, not before. This is convincing enough that the responding officer leaves without taking any action. Margaret is an adult after all, even if she's a vulnerable one. Candace's words are enough for the police, but not for Margaret's family. One of them, at least, is still concerned enough that 2 days later, on June 2nd, they call 911 again.
Somebody did come forward and contacted the police department and asked the police to do a welfare check.
Officers respond to Margaret's address at 1:37 p.m. Candace answers the door and lets the cops in, seemingly ignorant that there's anything to worry about. It hasn't yet been 72 hours, after all, since she last saw her ailing mother, at least according to her. But what the police discover inside the house will throw everything into question, including the devoted daughter's claims. Is Margaret really missing, or is the truth something worse? The investigators sit down with both Candace and her daughter Celia. They want to know when exactly they last.
You know how sick in the head you gotta be to chop up somebody you love? Or like chop up a family member or something? Like, you know how sick you gotta be? This is crazy.
Saw Margaret, in what circumstances, and what they think might have happened to their beloved mother and grandmother. Candace is visibly in pain before the investigator comes in to talk to her. She's recently had issues with her back and went to the ER for it about a month ago. Has something she's done recently, some physical activity, like heavy lifting, aggravated the issue again? It's body language like this that will be key in her interview. Pressure from family members, the community, and the media is mounting. They need to find out if Candace and her daughter's stories match up.
Basic information. What is your last name?
Craig. Who do you live with in that house? My grandmother, my mother, and my mother's boyfriend. What's his name? How long has he been living in the house with y'all? 2 years now. 2 years?
The investigators can tell Celia has something to say.
So when was the last time you seen your grandmother? On Tuesday, before I left to go to work. And you saw her last on, around what time was that when you went to work? Was it 11:30 in the morning? Yeah, before I went to work. Was she okay? Like, was
I had to check on her to let her know I was going to work.
Where was she at?
She was in the
In her room?
Yeah.
When you said you checked on her, was something wrong with her?
No, I guess she was just sleeping.
Okay.
So I know that your mother's missing. What is, kind of fill me into what's going on?
My daughter saw her on Tuesday. She said she was in the bathroom dumping her colostomy bag, and her grandma come out her room, and then she went out the front door. And then when she went out the bathroom, she realized the front door was open, so she knew she had to leave. But she didn't see her leave, but she knew she heard her.
So Ron saw her Tuesday, May 29th.
Yeah, she said before she went to work.
So far, so good. Both mother and daughter concur that the last time Margaret was seen was on Tuesday, 3 days earlier, May 30th.
And you said you last saw your mother on Monday.
Yeah, we put some stuff on the grill and took some food into her room.
Where did you see her at?
In the house. Yeah, we took some food to her bedroom. We put some hamburgers on the grill and chicken.
What is the condition of your mother?
She had a couple strokes, diabetic. She was showing signs of early dementia, but not really diagnosed. The doctor never diagnosed her. She didn't want to go.
As Candace is talking about her mother's condition, we observe her touching her neck and her back again, like she can't get comfortable. This is a stressful situation, and she's only making her mother sound more vulnerable. Perhaps conveniently, the undiagnosed dementia is something no doctor can confirm.
What do you know about her personal life or anything? Like anything going on in the house that would be issues?
I know she's been stressed and depressed. So,
with what?
She might get something and stuff.
Celia, meanwhile, focuses less on her grandmother's medical issues and more on her family's personal ones.
What was her condition when you saw her Monday?
She was quiet all day on Monday. She basically stayed in the room. She didn't really do anything. That was it. She was in the bed. It was quiet. Like the last couple of days, she was just quiet. It was like you can hear her on the phone talking, and then she would just start crying when she gets off the phone, like she was depressed. And I kept on telling her, I said, you need to tell your family how you're feeling. And she didn't want them to know certain things, and she was like quiet.
So where do you think she don't drive, right?
No.
Well, she didn't drive. Where do you think she went?
I have no idea. Normally if she needs to go somewhere, she'll ask me. But I went to the ER the first week of May, so regarding my spine, so I haven't been driving that much. But normally she'll call her brother-in-law, but they didn't pick her up that day. And my dad is really not concerned. He's thinking that she's with some man. I said, no, if she was with some man, she would have told me. So I don't think that's the case. But he's like, oh, she'll pop up.
Candace is downplaying her lack of concern now, but just next door, Celia is undermining her mother's story.
But is that normal for you? Like if you came home and didn't see your grandmother for 3 or 4 days, would you think that was normal or is that abnormal?
No, that's not normal. My mother, she been telling me how she did it before, but I never knew that she did it before.
Okay, but normally you're seeing her every day when you come home from work or when you're leaving the house.
Yeah.
So you
She mostly in her room all the time.
Where did your mom say she went?
Okay, so maybe the daughter didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping the daughter was not involved with this. Cause the way she talking, I don't know. Maybe she wasn't involved.
Or she didn't say she went to a friend's house or anything.
So who reported her missing?
Today, I don't know. I know she went missing twice last year, and then January she did the same thing. And
Was there a report for that?
no, she came back the third day, but she never said what she was or anything. And I kept on asking, she didn't want to tell me. But she came back the third day. I don't know who made the report today. So me and my cousin were supposed to go to the police station today to file a report. So Wednesday, the police came to the house. I think one of my cousins called, so they came to the house and they looked around. And I told them about the history of her being gone, and they was like, well, I will wait out 72 hours to see if she came back. And that's the reason why I was going to file today.
When was the last time you spoke to your mom over the phone?
She texted me Monday to come down and open a bottle of water, but that was about it. And usually when I text her, she never responds, hardly. And when she needs me, she'll come by the step and she'll call my name. And she'll bang on the wall.
Text you on Monday.
No, that's the cell phone I text, not the house phone. She'll call me from the house phone if she needs me.
Until now, all of Candace's story has been anecdotal, but a text is something they can check against phone records. They can see if a text was sent from Margaret's phone on Monday, May 29th, but they can't know if it was Margaret herself who sent it.
How did you guys get here today?
She did it.
Tell me what happened today.
Today,
She did it for sure.
I was in the basement cleaning up my daughter's colostomy bag, Soraya, because she had a mess over the place. And there was a knock on the door. And then the officer, someone reported her missing. And he came in and he looked around the place and that was it. So they had me upstairs in the living room. They didn't allow anybody to come in the house or to leave the house. And I'm here. When I talked to the police officer, he just said they was going to ask me questions about the last time I've seen my mom and stuff like that.
The investigator tries to determine what this partially disabled 71-year-old might have taken with her if she'd left the house of her own accord.
Does this seem strange that I know that you said previously, she did it twice or three times in the past, but this has been for about 5 days. So this doesn't seem strange to you?
She was gone 3 days before, so I'm thinking, okay, she's going to pop up at the end of the day, but that never happened. So I said if she doesn't pop up, I told the family members, if she's not here by 72 hours, I'm going to file a report. Because before she came home, I think the second day or third day.
She'd need money, too, if she'd taken off.
So do you have access to your mom's account or anything like that?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So have you noticed in the last 4 or 5 days any normal transactions?
She has not made nothing. She doesn't have a credit card, so it's nothing. And she can't remember her passwords. Her book, what she has on her passwords, was on the bed.
What kind of account?
Capital One.
So she got Capital One.
Yes.
And you haven't noticed any transactions on her Capital One card?
The only transactions that was made, that I made them, but she didn't make anything.
It's becoming clear here that Candace is the closest person in the world to her mom, who's separated from her husband and has no other children. If she doesn't know where Margaret is, with access to her bank accounts and knowledge of everything happening in her life, then who does? But Candace is continuing to emphasize her mother's poor mental well-being.
Bro, killing your mom is crazy. What the hell type shit is she on? People do crazy shit for money. I understand that motive, right? She's bugged the fuck out. Because anybody who'll kill somebody they love over any type of financial shit, you're beyond sick, right? But the barbecuing part, we didn't even get there yet. But the barbecuing part is what got my head all up right now. That's insane.
But Candace is continuing to emphasize her mother's poor mental well-being.
How would you describe your relationship with your mom?
We're close. She calls on me for everything. She probably is not happy with the career choice that I made. She wanted me to continue school. She probably had disappointments about that. But other than that, she calls on me every day. Anytime she needs something, it's me. I guess my mother and daughter relationship, I should say.
You mean my mother and her relationship?
Mm-hmm.
How is it? It's okay.
Like, I mean, outside of like, the regular family or even like, we just,
I've been hearing my mother been taking her money too.
Is she unemployed?
Yeah.
How long has she been unemployed?
She stopped working after.
Stealing her mom's money.
Okay. More than 3 years. She said she gets paychecks, but I don't know how.
Okay.
Celia again agrees with her mom's account, but she goes even further. Candace's lack of employment has been a source of tension in the house.
You ever been violent with her or anything, or?
No, never.
Okay.
I don't have her yelling or they don't yell at each other or nothing. I know, like, my grandmother, she calls my mother name, like, every day, and she gets irritated and stuff. Like, why should you call me and stuff? But that's about it.
Okay.
Now, hold on a minute. We've been talking about a missing elderly lady, confused and depressed with likely undiagnosed dementia, according to her daughter. Only now, the investigators are asking about violence. There's something else going on here.
And you're not, so she calls you every day, and at this point, you're not concerned, even though you typically talk to her daily. And here it is, it's been 4 days, 5 days, and...
That's what said it's 72 hours I was going to report. So I said if I didn't hear from her by the 72 hours, yes, I'll file. That's when my concern will kick in.
So, okay, so we have some investigators that are at the house now. They conducted they got a court-ordered search warrant to search the house. So they're doing that now.
Candace's face looks stricken. She's shaken to her core. But why? If it's because they're searching her house, what is she so afraid they'll find? Little does she know, they've already found it.
So right now, what we're investigating, we found a dismembered body. Do you know what dismembered means? Okay, so we found pieces of a body. Pieces like chopped up, like somebody's body was chopped up in bags in the house. I can't say for sure that it's your grandmother. I don't know whose body it is. I don't know who else's body would be in the house, but she's obviously missing at this point. We'll get her. We'll get whoever it is identified, but more than likely, based off of saying that, everybody says that they haven't seen her. I'm a homicide detective, so that's what I'm investigating. So that's why I'm asking you the questions along the lines of, like, would it, like, if it got to a point where it got so, like, to the point where maybe it got so violent, you see what I'm saying? So, because the thing is that it wouldn't make any sense for us to find, like, pieces in bags.
Let's go back to the moment earlier this same day when the police arrived at Margaret's address for the welfare check. It's just after lunchtime, and they're expecting it to be little more than a routine visit. The trail, if there is a trail, will surely lead them out and away from the house. But it doesn't. The second Candace lets them in, they notice a strange smell lingering in the air. The smell is that of decaying human flesh. They also spot 3 white plastic trash bags on the floor of the basement. Around these, they see bloodstains. One of the bags is open, and it visibly contains human brain matter. There's a knife lying on the floor beside it. Candace Craig has just let the cops into a murder scene. As the officers search the house, they also find a chainsaw cover, cutting utensils, and cleaning materials. Finally, they discover the chainsaw itself. It doesn't take much of a leap of the imagination to realize what horrible purpose that chainsaw had. A neighbor approaches the police, seeing them roping the house off as a crime scene.
They even had like a little table with one of the umbrellas. They had that out there. They had the grill.
In hindsight, they think that what Candace and Celia were burning was human remains. Candace isn't going to crack, so the investigators focus in on the weaker link of the two, Celia.
So, I mean, like I said, I can't say that for sure it's your grandmother. More than likely it probably is. Because, who else is...
It's insane, bro.
In the basement. So that's where we found the pieces of her body at. That's what, at this point, that's what we're investigating, a murder at this point.
A sudden revelation of the depth of the police's knowledge like this can often make a suspect fall apart, and Celia is no exception. She starts telling the truth immediately.
So you didn't think of anything, let me know.
I know I heard my grandmother scream, but
When was this?
this was Monday. Now I know I heard her scream, but she always screamed. Like when she used to fall and stuff, she would always scream. So I asked my mother, what is that? She said that their boyfriend did knock something over, but all I heard was a scream. So I really don't know why.
So you heard her scream on Monday night, and then you woke up, or was you in your room?
I was already up.
Oh, so you was already up in your room?
Yeah.
And then you came out of your room, actually?
No, my mom, she came in my room. I was like, who's that screaming? She was like, Benny knocked something over, but it didn't sound like Benny knocked over something, because he was in the basement. I couldn't really hear anything.
So you heard her scream basically from her room, and then your mother came in your room, and shortly after, and she said that it was Benny had knocked over something.
Yeah.
You just didn't think twice about it.
Yeah, because she always, when she falls, she screams.
Okay.
The investigator knows she's starting to get somewhere. In order to encourage this confessional spirit, she offers Celia some food or drink, like a reward.
Do you need any water or anything?
Yeah.
Need anything to eat, anything like that?
Yeah.
We have snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you eat? Like, are you allergic to anything?
Pineapple.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Then she leaves Celia alone for a moment to stew in her thoughts. Look at her body language here. The reality of what's happening is slowly sinking in. She's resorting to self-soothing, hugging herself for comfort. She looks at the cuffs attached to the walls, like she's contemplating the very real possibility of future prison time. Her only hope is cooperation with the cops. Like she's resigned to this, she takes the fruit cup the investigator gave her and opens it. She's going to try to take charge of her future now, even if that means turning on her mom.
I just want to clarify. So you said that you heard...
Her mom ain't shit for putting her in this position, bro. She knows something happened with her grandmother, and she knowing her mom had, like, you know what I'm saying? It's probably eating her alive. But that's her mom at the end of the day. Like, you feel me? It's crazy, bro.
Your grandmother's scream on Monday night, but you still saw her on Tuesday morning? And you're sure that she was snoring and not, like, and you just didn't, like, you know what I mean?
I heard a noise, so I guess she was snoring.
Okay, so you're sure?
I told her that I was leaving out. I didn't hear anything.
But she didn't respond back to you?
No.
So she very well could have not been alive at that point. Okay, were y'all close? Okay.
Candace's story hinges on her daughter having seen Margaret alive on Tuesday, but Celia didn't actually see her.
Because, it's one thing for a loved one to die from cancer or old age or whatever, but to have someone die, where they're, chopped up, that's completely, you know what I mean, that's different, that's a different kind of suffering, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing natural about that. So that's why we're just trying to get to the bottom of this story, because it's just you know what I mean, the smell of a dead body is very, very memorable. So you know what I mean, you come in the house, in how we found her, or wherever this body is, how we found the body had was dead for at least 2, 3, 4 days, because it was kind of decomposed. So it had been there for a little bit. It would match up for what you heard on Monday, because, it's now Friday. So a body, chopped up or whatever, in that state, it would make sense. Unless what you heard on Monday, it could have been, whatever was going on down there. So that would make sense. But if you're saying that you saw her on Tuesday, and seeing her sleeping, that part wouldn't, like I said, it wouldn't go with how long that body would have been, in the bag, you know what I'm saying? We're just investigating this at this point, so we're looking to know anything that you know, it's important. And even if it's something small that you might think, it might not matter, it would matter to us.
I was going through my Amazon orders. I saw she ordered a chainsaw. And I was asking, what is it for? She didn't really tell me.
The detective clarified.
See, now, did the mom ask her to order the chainsaw for her? Or did she really just go and order it off the daughter's account? The Mom is unemployed and she don't got no money. So the daughter could be telling the truth right here.
What she already suspects, that Candace is the prime suspect here.
Is she like normal? Does she have like rage fits? Is she violent any time?
I know my mother and Billy, they argue and stuff, so she would like throw stuff at him, like throw like hard stuff. Like last time she threw something at him, I made a hole in the wall.
So you just pretty much have like fights between them, but never with your grandmother. Has Benny ever had any issues with your grandmother?
We observe Celia keeping her arms wrapped tightly around herself as she reveals how conditional her mother's love can be.
Today she would just text me, oh, I love you. So when she's telling me that she loves me, that means something really bad happening. Or she did something.
Is that abnormal for her, or normally when something's going wrong, that's what she normally tell you?
Something goes wrong.
When was the last time she said that to you when something went wrong? Like what happened with that?
She learned these things, I love you, so...
You just knew something was up because she was
saying I was at work, she was telling me, the police is here, I love you, and I was calling her phone, she didn't answer, she finally answered. She told both my sisters the same thing, she loved them, and stuff. So I just knew something was wrong.
This is an obstacle to her cooperation. She doesn't want to betray her mom. The investigator tries to put her mind at ease.
That's what I said.
We don't go back and forth about, or we'll go to your mom and be like, okay, well, your daughter said this, but that doesn't make sense. We would let your mom tell.
It's like such a tough situation because that's her mom and like she love her, but then that's her grandmother and she love her and she know her mom did something wrong and it's just like, it's fucked up.
Her story, and then after she's finished telling us, like, we'll ask questions and like, hey, so you didn't smell a body in the basement, and then we leave it at that, and then we just talk at the table and that's it.
Yesterday when I was washing clothes, I did smell something, but I don't know what type of smell that was.
You never smelled it before?
No, just a bad smell.
It just stunk?
Yeah, it's like the whole basement living room.
It just stunk.
And I realized the carpet was gone.
Did you have carpet there before? Okay, and it just disappeared?
The smell of a corpse is obvious. So obvious that the police didn't need to be in the house for more than a few moments that day to realize what they'd walked into. The investigator tries to impress this upon Celia.
So through this whole thing, between your mother telling you not to go to your grandmother's room, to seeing the carpet gone, to you didn't think anything was going, where it was going on, because your mother never at any point said hey, this is what happened, this whole time.
This seemed weird, but I was trying to ask a question.
What did you ask her?
Have you heard from grandma and stuff like that? She said no. She was texting her and stuff, texting back and stuff, going back and forth with grandma. And I know she went grilling. She tried to grill. Like when you like barbecue. I know she tried to grill.
Did y'all eat any of that food, or she just grilled and didn't bring nothing in?
No, she just grilled.
Okay, but
I smelled it, but I just didn't see no.
But you didn't see no food or nothing like that.
No.
Okay. So when your cousins, I guess, came over and they were suspicious of the whole thing, because they're the ones who kind of initiated this whole thing anyway. Because I guess they couldn't get a hold of her. And then they came in, you said they went to the house, police came, they found nothing. Did you never see those trash bags in the basement at all?
No.
Did you smell it?
I just smelled something bad.
Celia's listing her mother's suspicious behaviors, but she's not quite revealing everything.
I'm asking, what do you think could have went wrong between your mom and your grandmother to the point where it could have got, to the point where your grandmother ended up in a position where they might have been in either a physical altercation or altercation that just went bad and she got to this point?
I think altercation went bad because I heard her scream.
You hear your grandmother, but you didn't hear anybody else screaming that night, nobody arguing or nothing, just heard her scream.
I just heard her scream, then after that, no scream at all.
That next morning, you saw her before you went to work.
Yeah.
You think you heard her snoring though? Yeah. Did you smell anything when you went in the room?
I think I smelled pee.
Okay, so it kind of stunk in the room.
Yeah, it just smelled like pee.
They mentioned in the police report that you and your mom were acting kind of weird that day, kind of trying to get them out. No.
I was trying to get them to stay.
To stay? And your mom was trying to get them to stay?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where she was at too.
Okay.
I don't know if she was people think, oh, they need to leave, they need to leave.
What's most clear is that Celia couldn't have failed to notice her grandmother being murdered right under her very nose. And when these dominoes fall, they all fall. She sketches out a horrifying sequence of events. On May 23rd, the early hours of Tuesday morning, over a week earlier, Celia heard her grandmother scream. The next day, she found Margaret's remains in a blue bin in her bedroom. When she confronted her mother about this, Candace enlisted her help in dismembering Margaret's body using the chainsaw she'd purchased.
So the daughter helped her.
They tried to burn her remains on May 27th, the day the neighbors saw the fire. They also tried to grill her body parts, grilling pieces of chicken alongside them to try to disguise the smell. Candace had killed her mother by suffocating her with a trash bag. Then, with the help of her 19-year-old daughter, she tried to cover it up. It was a week later that Margaret's remains came to light. But why? By all accounts, she was a loving, caring daughter, dedicated to nursing her ailing mother. In just one night, all that had changed.
The mother and her daughter have been charged in connection with murdering the family's grandmother.
Woman allegedly killed and dismembered by her daughter and granddaughter. It's a case that is stopping everyone in their tracks, and as Lex Juarez explains, it's posing a challenge for investigators, too.
Margaret's bank account was active even after her death on May 23rd, buying a box of 13-gallon trash bags, paper towels, and a plastic drop cloth. The chainsaw purchase was also in Margaret's name. If Candace had used her mother's money to buy the items used to dispose of her body, what's to say she hadn't been using it while Margaret was still alive as well? This was made tragically evident by a series of phone calls made to Margaret's bank. In many calls, a woman who said she was Margaret Craig asked the bank to approve large purchases, such as a $211 pair of collectible sneakers, and wire money into Candace's account. In other calls, a woman who called herself Margaret, whose voice was notably different and older, pleaded for help. She'd been noticing strange purchases appearing on her statement from services she'd never used, like DoorDash and Lyft. This was the real Margaret, discovering that she'd been the victim of financial fraud. And the culprit was none other than her own daughter. Celia confirms this.
Like no beef or nothing in the house.
She killed her mom, suffocated her with a plastic bag, chopped her body up. She asked her daughter to help her get rid of it, and they used a grill and then was cooking chicken beside it so you couldn't smell the meat. Bro, this is some next level sick shit, bro.
About your grandmother thinking that your mother was stealing money.
Yeah.
And this is all over her, all over money. I bet you this is all over
Candace was
money.
systematically stealing from her own mother, who
She
had
was
a healthy
broke.
retirement pot. Sometimes she'd even enlist her youngest daughter, who was 12, in the scheme, getting her to phone the bank for new debit cards. When Margaret finally realized what was going on and confronted her about it that fateful Monday night, Candace killed her. Candace denies all of this. She even tries to blame Celia and her middle daughter for the killing. But Celia knows
What? She tried to blame it on her daughters, bro?
it's time to do the right thing. She pleads guilty to accessory after the fact and is sentenced to supervised probation for 5 years. In exchange, she takes the stand to testify against her mother. She tells the jury about the stealing and the confrontation and the killing. She tells them about the burning and the grill and the chainsaw, all the different methods they tried and failed to hide what Candace had done. When asked why she helped cover up this heinous crime, Celia just replies, "Because my mother asked me." She must also undergo psychiatric and psychological evaluation and a drug and alcohol evaluation. She will live with her grandfather, Margaret's husband, in D.C. until she finds herself permanent housing. Candace, meanwhile, is found guilty. There are no mitigating factors in her life.
She was someone who worked hard all her life. She was providing for her grown daughter who was living with her. her grandchildren, and she even allowed her daughter's boyfriend to live in the home.
Facts. Like she was taking care of you, your grown ass. You had a boyfriend. Your grown ass boyfriend was living with you and your kids. She was letting y'all all stay there, bro. And the whole time you was living there, you was robbing her blind. And when she caught on, you killed her. And this is your mother. That's like really like pure evil. Dog.
So this is a giving, caring, loving, compassionate, and understanding woman who was killed, who was asphyxiated by her daughter. And make no mistake, Miss Candace Craig absolutely committed this crime, and she is now being held accountable.
As a result, she's sentenced to life without possibility of parole. Today, she sits in prison with her family.
Put her
still
under the jail.
reeling.
They need to make a special cell for her ass underneath the jail. Ain't no way.
Murder, but the murder of a vulnerable elderly person and a loving grandmother. What do you think about this tragic story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time.
People that do shit to children, people that do shit to old people, y'all deserve the worst of the worst. Stick her ass under the jail.